There was a woman named May. She was a widow and lived with her only son, Leo. She had lost her husband many years ago, and since then her whole world had become her son. May and Leo shared a very strong bond. They were more than just mother and son. They were best friends. You would hardly ever see one without the other. They did everything together: cooking, cleaning, going to the market, and most especially, talking. They would sit for hours chatting, telling jokes, and laughing so loudly that their neighbors would sometimes smile and say, "Those two are always so happy together." Leo loved listening to his mother's stories, especially folk tales. He believed every story had a lesson, and he would often beg her, "Mama, please tell me another tale, one with a strong lesson I can carry with me." May was always happy to share. She would sit with him, sometimes in the evening breeze, and tell stories from her childhood. They were poor, yes, but they had each other, and that was enough for them, at least for now. One evening after dinner, May called Leo to sit beside her. She looked serious this time, not like her usual cheerful self. "Leo," she began, "you are growing fast. Very soon, women will start coming around you. But listen to me, my son. Any lady you want to marry must be approved by me. In fact, without my approval, there will be no marriage. I don't want any woman to come between us and break the bond we have." Leo was quiet. He listened carefully, but his heart was troubled. May continued, "And let me tell you something else. I want you to marry a rich lady. A woman that will bring us out of this poverty. A woman with money, class, and position. We have suffered enough, Leo. It's time we enjoyed life, even if it's through your marriage." Leo looked at his mother with love in his eyes and said, "Mama, I understand what you want from me, but I want to marry for love. I believe God has not forgotten us. One day He will bless us too. We will have our own money, our own joy, but I want to be with someone I truly love, not just someone who has money." May's eyes widened in anger. She stood up and shouted, "Over my living body, you will not marry for love. Love cannot feed us. Love cannot pay bills. Don't let foolish dreams blind you, Leo. Marry for your future and for mine." Leo was speechless. He had never seen his mother this upset. He quietly stood up and walked into his room, leaving his mother sitting there, lost in her thoughts. And so a quiet war began in their peaceful home. A war between a mother's dreams and a son's heart. A few months after May warned Leo never to marry without her approval, Leo made a bold decision. He had been dating a young woman named Shelley for over 3 years. She was kind, respectful, and loved Leo deeply. Even though they didn't have much, their love for each other was real. They supported one another through life's struggles and never gave up on their dreams. Leo believed it was time his mother met Shelley. He hoped that once his mother saw how lovely and gentle she was, she would accept her. So one bright Saturday morning, Leo brought Shelley home. As they entered the house, May was sitting in the living room. Leo greeted her with a smile and said, "Mama, this is Shelley, the woman I want to marry. We've been together for years, and I truly love her." May looked up and gave Shelley a long, cold stare. Shelley smiled politely and greeted her. "Good afternoon, Ma." Instead of replying, May asked sharply, "So, young lady, what do you do for a living?" Shelley smiled again and answered humbly, "I'm still in school, Ma. I'm studying to become a nurse. I'll be graduating next year." The moment May heard those words, her face changed, her eyes turned cold, and her tone became harsh. "What? You're still in school? You don't have a job? You have no money? And yet you think you can marry my son?" Shelley was shocked. She didn't know what to say. She looked at Leo, confused and hurt. May stood up suddenly and pointed toward the door. "Get out of my house, right now. Don't ever come near my son again. He will never marry a poor girl like you. We are not looking for a liability. We need a working-class woman, someone who can change our story. You have nothing to offer us." Shelley's eyes filled with tears. Her hands trembled as she tried to speak, but no words came out. She looked at Leo one last time, her heart shattered, then turned and ran out of the house crying. Her sobs echoed in the street as she ran home. Broken and humiliated, Leo stood frozen, unable to believe what just happened. His mother had just thrown out the woman he loved, the woman he had planned a future with. Slowly, he walked into his room without saying a word. He sat on the edge of his bed, hands on his head, trying to understand what had just happened. His heart was heavy. His thoughts were scattered. He kept hearing his mother's voice in his head, over and over. She has nothing to offer us. We need a rich woman. Get out of my house. Leo had always respected his mother. She was all he had. But now, for the first time, he felt a sharp pain between what he wanted and what she demanded. He loved Shelley with all his heart. But was that love enough? That night, Leo didn't eat. He didn't speak. He just lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling, asking himself, what do I do now? And so, the tension in the house grew stronger. A choice was hanging in the air, between love and loyalty, between a mother's expectations and a young man's heart. After many months of silence between Leo and his mother, May came up with a new plan. She decided to find a woman who had everything she dreamed of in a daughter-in-law: wealth, power, and beauty. One afternoon, May called Leo to the living room and said, "My son, I want you to meet someone. Her name is Linda. She's rich, classy, and drives the finest cars. She lives in a mansion and travels to places we can only dream of." Soon after, Linda visited. She was indeed beautiful, dressed in designer clothes and jewelry that sparkled. But from the moment Leo met her, something didn't feel right. He didn't like her. There was no spark, no connection. But May didn't care. She saw Linda as their ticket out of poverty. "Leo," she said firmly, "this is the woman you must marry. Forget about love. This is your chance to change our lives forever." To please his mother, Leo agreed. The wedding was massive. Linda paid for everything. Guests came in expensive clothes with dignitaries, family, and friends present. People called it the wedding of the year. After the wedding, Linda took Leo and May to her mansion. The house was like a palace: golden chandeliers, soft velvet furniture, sparkling floors, and endless rooms. May was thrilled. She thought her dreams had finally come true. But it didn't take long before things turned dark. One morning, Linda sat May and Leo down in the living room and said with a cold smile, "Now that you're in my house, things must be done my way. If you want to keep enjoying this luxury, I have one rule. Every morning, I will flog your mother, 12 strokes of cane. That is the only way there will be peace in this house." May gasped in shock. "What? You want to flog me?" Linda smiled. "If you refuse, you both can leave. This house, this life, this wealth, it all belongs to me." Leo sat quietly. He looked at his mother and said, "Mama, you brought this upon yourself. We have no choice now." Tears filled May's eyes, but she said nothing. And so the nightmare began. Every morning, Linda would whip May 12 times. May would cry, beg, and plead, but Linda showed no mercy. She would laugh while Leo turned away in silence. The same May who once dreamed of wealth now sat alone in her room every night, weeping and asking God for help. "Lord, I made a terrible mistake. Please forgive me. Deliver me from this pain. I thought riches would bring happiness, but I was wrong." Then one day, everything changed. Leo and May received a phone call. Linda had died in a car accident on her way to work. It was sudden. She was gone. At first, they were both in shock. But deep inside, May felt a wave of relief. Leo, too, breathed a heavy sigh. They buried Linda in a respectful and grand ceremony, as expected. They mourned her for the right time. After her death, all of Linda's wealth, her cars, mansion, businesses, and money was legally transferred to Leo, her husband. Just like that, everything became theirs. From that moment, Leo and May lived in luxury, but this time, with peace. No more pain, no more beatings, just mother and son, living quietly and happily, finally free. Moral of the story: be careful what you wish for. Riches gained the wrong way can bring pain, not joy. True happiness doesn't come from money, it comes from love, peace, and making the right choices. A mother's desire for comfort nearly destroyed her son's happiness, but life taught her a powerful lesson. In the end, it's better to have little and be free than to be rich and suffer in silence. Thank you message to viewers. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this story. If you enjoyed it and learned something from it, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me. Stick around for more interesting and meaningful folk tales that will inspire and entertain you. God bless you all, and see you in the next story.